Hello everyone, Jessica here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel and blog. So today I am making a card for the Color Throwdown challenge, and I'll have the link for that down below in the description and also on my blog. The colors for this week are light pink, lavender, green, and light gray. So I thought it would be fun to use the shell pink alcohol ink that I just showed in my recent haul video. And I'm going to be using just this color of alcohol ink. I wanted to see what kind of contrast I could get by using just one color of ink. And I'm also using a silver mixtive as like a light gray, plus it's shiny. I remembered to grab a straw this time, so I'm using that to blow out the edges of the alcohol ink, and it creates kind of like a splatter effect. And I thought that was really fun. And I'm also using blending solution to keep everything moving. The Yupo paper that I'm using is actually a new brand that I found on Amazon. It's the Legion brand. It's a little thinner than another brand I've used. This one is a 74-pound weight. But other than the difference in thickness, I don't really see a difference between the two. And the new one is a pack of 10 sheets, and it's 9 by 12. So I can actually get 4 nice large sizes that'll cover an A2 card out of one sheet. So it's like I get 40 pieces. It's like I get 40 sheets, and the price was good. So I wanted to add a little bit of the silver mixative as splatter droplets over the whole thing. So I used my blending solution and just put a little bit of that directly onto the Tim Holtz glass media mat. And then I added some of the silver mixative to that and used my paintbrush that I have designated for just alcohol inks to mix that up and just splatter over the top of my alcohol ink piece. And because I like everything messy. Alright, so this is the new stamp from Ink Road, and it's part of their monthly stamp program. I'm using one of the new Gina K inks to stamp this image. And this is the amalgam? Amalgam? That doesn't sound right. Hold on. Amalgam.
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 Amalgam. Amalgam. Amalgam.
I'm never going to remember that. I'm just going to call it amalgam. No, that was right. Amalgam. I'm going to call it amalgam. Okay. So I'm using the new Gina K ink called
Amalgam.
This one's supposed to be really good for watercoloring and Copic marker. I only have a few colors for lighter skin tones, so my go-to is the ivory color, which I use for most of the shading, and then I blend all that out with the skin white. So I start off with the largest area of the face, and then I go to the arms and the feet. And I thought this girl really needed purple hair. Now that might be because it's part of the Color Throwdown challenge and I didn't want to use a different color. But I could have used gray, I guess. But I thought she would look pretty awesome with some lavender hair color. So I first started off with a very light purple, very desaturated color. And then I added in some contrast with a couple different darker purple markers, keeping those mainly to the shadow around the bow and the lines in the actual hair from the stamp. I brought in the pink with a Spectrum Noir pen. I have a couple different ones of these. They're pretty good. The price point is nice. I found this set at Michael's, and so I got to use a 40% off coupon also. So it was a good little set. I think it was like a set of 6 of them. And they do work quite well with the Copic markers also. I'm going to be using some of the Blick Studio alcohol markers too, which are very similar to Copic's and the Spectrum Noir. Alright, so going back to the alcohol ink panel, I'm going to cut that out with my Big Shot using the MFT wonky rectangle die. I like how the die is just a little bit smaller than the panel, so I can actually tilt it and move it to get just the right proportion of color. And then I'm going to cut the stamped image out using just a rectangle stitch die, one of my go-tos. Somewhere in the editing process, I must have lost the clip of me stamping her lips. It was a very short clip, so it probably accidentally got edited out. But I just used a Gina K light purple ink and stamped purple lips onto this coffee book loving girl with purple hair and a purple phone. Because who wouldn't want purple lipstick or a purple gloss? Because I'm going to use glossy accents over her lips. Who wouldn't want a purple gloss when you have purple hair? It makes sense to me. It just goes hand in hand. If I had purple hair, I would wear a purple lipstick. I would probably wear a purple lipstick anyways. Moving on. So I'm going to put this card together now. I'm going to adhere paper tray ink soft stone cardstock onto a Nina Solar White A2 sized card base. So what I mean by card base is I have actually already pre-cut and scored these card bases, so they're already set to A2, and I have them in the Nina Solar White and the Nina Desert Storm, and that just saves a little bit of cutting and assembly. And sometimes it's fun to just sit down and score and cut paper. You know you love this hobby when you say that's fun. Anyways, so I attached the soft stone cardstock to the card base, and then I'm going to adhere the alcohol ink panel onto that. Off screen, I also die cut that scalloped rectangle using a Spellbinders die. I don't think they carry that one anymore, but it's a really large scallop. It's kind of fun. I'm going to adhere that on top of the alcohol ink panel. I'm going to adhere the stamp image with a little bit of fun foam underneath it to give it dimension on top of the vellum scallop. Now, I thought the shirt looked a little bit plain, just being all green, so I go in with my Signo white gel pen and add some white polka dots. And I'm also going to add a little bit of shimmer to the bow and the back of the phone. I believe that's a phone anyway. I'm calling it a phone. She's like texting. She's like, no, go away. I'm reading and drinking coffee because I have purple hair. And then, of course, since I used the Spectrum Noir pen, I go back through with the glossy accents. I actually put the glossy accents on the bow, her phone, the coffee cup, because that's glass, and also her lips because she has purple lip gloss on. So it's got to be purple and glossy. For the inside of the card, I'm going to make a little gift card insert pocket. And I've been making these for a very long time. It's super simple. You don't need a die or anything for it. So basically I just cut a piece of cardstock to 4 inches by 5 1/4 so that it layers nicely onto the inside of the card. And then the other piece I cut down to 5 1/4 inches by 2 inches. So it's half the height of the first layer. And then I just use my ATG gun and tape around 3 sides to form the pocket. And I have an old gift card that I've been using for a long time to make sure that I don't make the pocket too small to where the gift card can't slide in and out. And that still gives you room to write a sentiment or anything that you want. So this card's good for like a happy birthday, basically anything, thinking of you, thank you card. It's pretty generic. All right, and that's it for today's card. All the products I used are linked on my blog. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you enjoyed it. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Meh, meh.